Welcome back, everyone. I'm gonna do a different kind of video today. As part of my therapy, if you've been in therapy, you know, part of my issues is childhood trauma, and my therapist recommended that I talk to the person that caused me the most pain. And luckily, the person who did that for me is still alive. I'm not gonna name any names or anything. It was just in my immediate family, and so she told me this like a year ago, and I just kept putting it off, and I decided I'm going to do it this weekend. Not this weekend, but it was a few weeks ago now. I debated whether I'm going to do a video or not. And I knew it wasn't going to go well, but I had this hope that they would be open and willing, and it would help. Like, I wanted to talk. This happened, and I realized it's not your fault because of what you were going through at the time, the way you were raised, and stuff like that, and I forgive you for myself. That was my plan. I had it all planned out in my head, and as we know, shit don't go according to plan sometimes. So I went over, and of course, they were sitting down watching TV. I said, can we go to the kitchen table, sit down, and talk? It's something I want to talk to you about. Begrudgingly, he did. We got at the table. I said, I'd like to talk to you about my childhood and the way I was treated. And instead of being receptive, the defensiveness started, everything. And I didn't get the conversation I wanted to get at all. He just, like, your childhood was great. This, like, I told him, like, what 8-year-old do you know goes to bed every night crying, wishing they were dead? Which I did. Like, then, as I've said, I'm off work for mental health reasons. I gotta get this shit dealt with. It's getting worse as I get older. I gotta heal. And I told him, I flat out told him I'm thinking about leaving my job because I spent my entire life chasing after money because that's what you wanted me to do. But I want to get a job where I enjoy going to work now. And of course, he didn't like that either. And it's very demoralizing. Like, you spend your entire life trying to impress this one person. You have all this stuff going on in your head, and they tell you you should be working because there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. Like, I've seen over a dozen psychiatrists, psychologists, therapists. Like, I'm pretty sure they know. And he was telling me this just trying to get me to go back to work. I told him it's not about the money anymore. Like, I worked my whole life just to get one good job. I'm proud of you. Something. And it's impossible to do. Like, a few years ago, I lost 30 pounds. Proud of myself. First thing I do, I go over, like, I lost some weight. I'm pretty, then, instead of saying, good job, like, your sister lost a lot of weight. She's doing pretty good, like, stuff like that. Like, I get a promotion at work. Of course, I go over. I got promoted at work. I worked really hard because of my attendance issues, because of my headaches and stuff, and I did it. Like, your sister really likes her job. Like, not once have I ever... I was married and with my ex-wife for a while. My ex-mother-in-law, is the first person I remember ever saying they were proud of me. And this was in my late 30s. So the conversation did not go the way I wanted it to. I'll be honest, I let it ruin my entire weekend because I had such high hopes for the conversation, even though deep down I knew it wasn't going to go well. But for him to completely disregard how I feel, what I'm going through, and everything like that, like, I lived there for years, like during my 20s and stuff. Like, there was a period when I was younger, my early 20s I think it was, where I went almost 2 years with not leaving the house. I left my bedroom to go to the bathroom and went back in the bedroom. they'd bring my meals to me, come get the dishes, and like, you never thought anything was wrong. Like, he knows about my incident last year, my breakdown. I got off work one Thursday, went home, took a handful of sleeping pills. And like I've said before, I didn't take my therapy seriously last year because I was not planning on being here this year. But there's nothing wrong with me. And I'll be honest with you, because I've swore once I started this channel, I wouldn't hide anything. Full disclosure, it broke my heart. Like, no matter how they treated me growing up, I still seek their approval. I want them to be proud of me. And it broke my heart that he completely disregarded what I went through, how I feel about it. I never got a chance to say I forgive you. And so, if you're in therapy too for the issues, there's a chance your therapist may suggest talk to the person that harmed you. Talk to them. Not to find out why, not to place blame, really, just to let them know what you went through and what it did to you. I forgive you. And I hope if you do that it goes better for you than it did for me, because it did not go well for me at all. And it left a mark on me, and I'm still trying to come to terms with that. A couple of days, I think it was 2 or 3 days after I tried to talk to him, I went to my grandfather and great grandfather's graves and just sat there. It was the first time since they each passed away that I worked up the nerve to go. Jolene went with me just to be there, and my goal was to go and talk. Because when I was younger, I spent a lot of time with my great grandfather. He'd carve horses out of wood. We'd talk. We'd watch wrestling together. And being a kid at the time, I didn't realize he was helping me. He was giving me advice and life lessons. But I didn't know any better to listen, and I missed those conversations. So I went. My plan was to talk like he was there. But once I got there, I was too self-conscious to do it. So I am going to try again. I'm going to keep going back till I can do it. But that was my experience of trying to talk to the one that helped contribute to my issues. I'm not saying I wouldn't have any issues if none of that had happened. I probably would have had something, but I don't think I would be nearly as bad. Like, I did get a chance to say that what I went through, spending my entire life trying to make you happy, is the reason why I'm such a people pleaser. That's why I have such trouble saying no. That's why I do stuff I don't want to do, because I don't want people to be disappointed in me like you seem to be. And I let them know that I never felt like I was part of this family. I never felt like I was part of the family. That's something I went through as far back as I can remember. That I just didn't feel like I belonged. Like, I had this weird fantasy when I was a kid, for some reason, I don't know why, that Bill Cosby was my real father. I don't know why Bill Cosby, maybe just because of the Cosby Show. I mean, in retrospect, it's probably for the best that he wasn't, after everything that's happened. But when I was a kid, yeah, I thought he was my real dad. And I had this friend, Mike Lamont, growing up. I'd go over his place the occasional weekend and stuff like that, and I wanted so badly to ask his parents to adopt me. But I never asked, because I didn't want to face that rejection of them saying no. But that's what I wanted as a kid. I wanted to be adopted by Mike's parents. I absolutely loved his parents, Doug and Maddie. I loved it there. And so that was my experience of trying to talk to the abuser, I guess, and wasn't willing to acknowledge a damn thing, which I found odd, because I remember back in 2001 they were drinking, They got a little tipsy, and they did say, "I'm sorry for how I treated you growing up," but that's all I've ever heard about it. Like, you acknowledged it when you were drinking, but now, according to him, my childhood was perfect, absolutely perfect, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with me, and it broke my heart. I just want to share this experience with all of you, just to get it off my chest. I've talked to Join about it, but I want to share my experience with the viewers and the subscribers and stuff. So that was it. I hope yours goes better than mine. Mine did. I was tempted to try again someday, but I decided what's the point. So I'm trying my best. I'm going to try and write it all down, what I want it to say, then read it out loud, burn it, do the ritual. My problem is I sat down with pen to paper and I have trouble bringing my thoughts out to the paper. So I'll keep you updated on that. And so that's it for me. Remember, hit that subscribe button, come back and see me. Hit the notification bell. You'll get notified when I upload new videos. Check out my series of shorts. I've been keeping a gratitude journal since January 1st. I decided I'm going to start doing it videos online, stuff like that. So I've been doing gratitude videos, and which help a lot. Check those out. So until next time, everybody, thank you so much for watching and joining me on this journey and the support you give me in trying to heal everything I need healing. Thank you.